why the Niners didn't show up to Seattle. So it came down to that play at the end, but really it shouldn't have come down to that. Seattle stinks. They won week 1, and since then they've beaten the Niners twice in Jacksonville. They freaking stink, and the Niners lost twice to them. Twice! I don't know if another team in the league could lose twice to Seattle, but the Niners found a way to do it. And really, I mean, I know Gerald Everett is awful, and he didn't show up to that game, and he was trying to give it back to the Niners, but the Niners didn't show up to this game. 10 penalties. It was their most unengaged, unprepared performance of the season. I mean, of course, the Arizona one with Colt McCoy is bad too, but you're 6-5. This team is 3-8. Arizona's good, even with Colt McCoy. The freaking Seahawks stink. Put them out of their misery, and you did that. In my mind, the reason the Niners didn't show up to Seattle is this is a symptom of a team that lacks player leadership. We've talked about it in the past. I'd like to know what you think, but it seems to me if you have a Joe Staley, a Frank Gore, a Patrick Willis, just maybe a Fred Warner, maybe if he was there that day, he could actually get the players to perform at a standard, but it's not there on this team right now. And I think you see it. Oh, you won 3 in a row. You're 6-5. Everyone expects you to win. Well, we don't show up. That's the way I see it.
So this is a rivalry game, and
Yes.
I think in any rivalry game, a bad team will play up to a better team, and vice versa. But usually, I would say the bad team will really play up, and I expected that from Seattle, and the Niners should have fully expected that as well. That's why I think in some of the tweets that I put out there is
did Seattle play up or did the Niners play down though?
A little bit. I think a little bit of both. I think Seattle played up, but what you have to do with a team like that is you have to really stomp on get on their throat early and don't let them hang around. Right. Do not let them hang around because
Seattle didn't have Seattle didn't have a first down until the second quarter. Am I wrong?
Right.
Right.
They had an opportunity because first of all they got them 3-0. Then they gave up that big play and that gave them some serious life. And then they didn't build up enough lead. You should have, the defense didn't stop them in the first half. They got some turnovers, but they left some work on there. And with a team like that, you got to put them away early. Don't let them believe that they can hang with you, and make them quit. And not just because they're not good, but I mean. They have a issue where you think their head coach might be fired. Like I think their GM could be fired too. So they could be a mess. And I mean, right now they're in a situation where they traded for a player and they're about to give another team a top 10 draft pick. Like it's not looking good over there. And you just made them look a lot better by giving them this win. And you could have stepped on their throat early, ended it, and make them give you the game as opposed to you kind of just give it to them or let them hang around.
Wouldn't you agree that in the Niners' last 2 losses, they pretty much didn't show up? This one and the one to Colt McCoy. I mean, like 2 of their worst efforts of the season. Wouldn't you say that? Or isn't that fair to say?
Situations where you would have an opportunity to really come at this team strong early.
Prepared. To me, like. They really beat themselves in the last 2 games that they lost, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But how do you not get yourself up to play Arizona at home? How do you not get yourself up to play Seattle in Seattle? Those are rivalry games. Those are division games. You had already lost to each team that season. You knew you needed those games, and you sleepwalked through them. The Niners have had some phenomenal efforts this year against the Rams, against the Vikings. They really played very well, but really against Arizona and Seattle, to me, if the team had a Staley, if the team had a Sherman, a Sanders, doesn't happen. But this team doesn't. They have Josh Norman. They have Fred Warner, but he wasn't here in this game. So I just don't see. It ain't Jimmy. Jimmy's not allowed to be the leader. He's a lame duck quarterback. Not his fault.
I thought the defense played well enough to win. I think that the offense, to me, I think the offense and the special teams really,
except for all those drive extending penalties.
Yeah, but they did get turnovers, which made up for the turnovers on the special teams and the offense.
That's true.
And they did have injuries, but that necessarily wasn't an excuse because they got turnovers, and they're not the 2019 defense.
No.
They're not.
No.
But
You're right though.
Right.
They showed up more than the offense did. 0 points in the second half.
Right, 0 points. And outside of the last drive, the 49ers only had 2 first downs.
What the hell is that?
In the second half. Sorry. In the second half. Outside of the last drive.
Seattle sucks.
Right.
Yeah, it's a rivalry game. They suck. They were sloppy too. Gerald Everett was like had his own agenda going on, and the Niners lost by 7.
And you couldn't score a touchdown in the second half. A touchdown.
Richard Sherman wouldn't have let it happen. Joe Staley wouldn't have let it happen. And I know that Trent Williams is better than Joe Staley, but there needs to be some player leadership on the team somewhere, and I don't see it. That's why this team is 6-6. At least bootleg the damn thing. Yeah, at the goal line. Niners mess is all office politics. Wins don't matter. Yeah, dude. It's a very strange season. It's like they matter, but like other stuff matters just as much.